Good to see some smiling faces. Well, let's get started. We'll offer the mandala, so please make the mudra. Here's the great earth filled with the smell of incense and covered with a blanket of flowers. The great mountain, the four continents, wearing a jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make them the paradise of a Buddha and offer it all to you. By this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niratayame. I go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha until I achieve enlightenment. By the power of the goodness that I do in giving and the rest, may I reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha until I achieve enlightenment. By the power of the goodness that I do in giving and the rest, may I reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha until I achieve enlightenment. By the power of the goodness that I do in giving and the rest, may I reach Buddhahood. I will reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I try to put a little what I call pop into something like that. So I'm reading that. I can read it. I go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Or I go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha.
Lama Sumati, your camera is off.
Oh. How about now?
Yeah, good. Yeah. And that's good about the reading with
a little bit of emotion. I think that, yeah, like the source of all my good is my kind Lama, my Lord. Bless me first to realize that taking myself to him in the proper way is the very root of the path. I'm not sure why my camera's flaking out.
Yes, it's out again. Okay.
I'm not sure what's going on. Well, I'll just keep trying to keep on it. Okay, but anyway, the point is, it's much more fun, I think. I try to do that, although I'm pretty grim these days. What is going on with this camera? Hang on a minute. I'm going to switch. To a different camera. I'm going to take this camera. It doesn't do any better. Just bear with me a minute. Well, let's see if that camera does better. So I'll switch my, come on, where'd my cursor go? There it is. Okay, I'm going to move Zoom over to my laptop. And I'm going to move the poster over here. Okay, that's a little better. Hopefully that'll be a little more consistent. Okay, so back to what I was saying. I like to put a little, make things a little more interesting by giving it a little punch. So One of the problems with Parkinson's is I tend to have a rather bland looking face, but I'm going to try better to not be bland. So that may mean more jokes. You guys are just going to have to live with it. Okay, so let's see about lighting. I look a little dark. I still look a little dark. Well, that's the way it is. Okay. So let's do some rejoicing. Where's my camera here? Let's start with let's start with Svetlana. What do you have to rejoice in, my dear?
Yay. I'd like to rejoice that I connected with my family for this weekend, and we had a dinner today, and I'd like to dedicate it that people can connect with each other easily and in a happy way.
How many kids in your family?
One, and it is me. So it's like
Well, that makes it easy. Well, good. I'm glad you had a good time. Family's important. Okay, let's go with Dinara. The interpreters get a chance to rejoice too. So, oops, she disappeared. I guess she doesn't want to rejoice. There she is. Okay, do you have something you can rejoice?
I think you need to go to the English channel to hear me. Do you hear me?
I hear you fine.
Oh, cool. Hi, Venerable Sumati. Happy to be here. I would like to rejoice for the sojong that I did. I think a couple of days ago, and yesterday I found another mental affliction, and I shared it in the chat with my group. So it was kind of fun for me. Yeah.
Oh, good. Rejoicing and confessing. That's
Yes.
good. Yeah,
Thank
people
you.
take confessing as something terrible. It's worse to not confess. So confession's did I send you the rejoicing page? No? Okay, I need to make a note. My lovely wife and I, we took the confession page that comes with the confession ceremony, and we turned it into a rejoicing page. So I'm going to send you, I'm going to make a note here, rejoicing page. Now understand, what I'm going to send you is something that my wife and I converted from another document. So this, what you're going to get is, I did send it to you?
In the source of all my good, apparently.
Oh, okay. I'll send it again then. But I just want to make clear what I'm sending you is something my wife and I came up with. It's not from Geshe, just to be sure you understand. Okay, who's next? Sheila, we'll start with you today.
Hello, good evening. I rejoice that I certificate the first part of the lab, and I am very happy because I am ready to start at finish of April, the second part.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Wow. Wow, I'm impressed. That's a lot of work. Good for you.
Yes.
Okay, Katya, what do you have to beat that rejoicing?
Hello. I rejoice that we already do the registration to go to the retreat on April. So we are going to Diamond Mountain and we are very happy. Yes.
That's very good. Well, I look forward to meeting you. We'll be down there for 2 days.
Oh, great.
We're going down for the fire puja, and then there's some kind of celebration about the 3-year retreat. So that's a Friday and a Saturday. So, well, excellent. If you can break away from spending all your time with my lovely wife, you can spend a few minutes with me.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
Wow.
If you want something from Mexico,
yes,
please ask us.
I want you to. That's what I want from Mexico.
Okay, thank you.
I'll see if I can think of something.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, that's good rejoicing. Jackie, what do you have to rejoice in?
Thank you, dearest Lama Sumati. I would like to say thank you for your time for the question that I asked about ethics last week, and I pursued things further. So I have a part 2 to the blind's returning story. I was able to get permission to speak to the agent, apologizing for the state of the house, to personally apologize and to share gratitude for all that they did for us. On behalf of others, and to be able to be convenient and considerate to the owner, and to share that, to let them know that we have blinds to be returned and how would they like for those to be returned to them.
Excellent. Excellent. That's really good. I'm proud of you. That's pursuing something and getting it to happen, and not because you want it to happen, but because you know that that's the kind of karma that you need to have in your life. So very good. I know that was difficult, especially getting the permission, but
Yes,
good.
I dedicate it to having things completed and having courage for all of us to find completion of something that we need to get done, to actually get it done.
Good. Very good. Okay, who's next? Natalia.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Lama Sumati. So I want to rejoice about, I was struggling for a long time about how can I volunteer everywhere, donate everywhere, and help everybody, and that I'm not at the level that I can do all of it, but I felt like I need to do it. I need to do it. And it was depleting me a lot when I was doing it. Instead of doing it with ease, with joy, it was a struggle at some point, became a struggle at some point. And I realized that, and immediately after I realized, I went to a group, I was in a group of women who were discussing, talking about donating, giving donations and how good it is. And then one woman was struggling with it. And so I just shared with her that she should not be doing it from this place of struggle. And it was like me talking to myself, giving advice to myself.
Oh, very good. Well, good. And you saw that and you were able to help her.
Yes, and she was very happy. She thanked me very much. She said, "Thank you for saying that," because I was struggling.
Very good. Very good. Well, you guys all have great rejoicing. Let's see what I can.
There is also, I think you've missed Evgeny.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Evgeny, what you have to rejoice in today?
Я очень хочу порадоваться тому, что я
He
сегодня
wants to rejoice that he was reading second time karmic management book, and he read your name there, David Sumati, there in that book, and he was like, wow, and I'm listening his teachings, and he created these decisions in Diamond Mountain. I realized that it was a long time ago. There is no dates in the book, but it was so great. And now I'm listening to his teachings, and it was the best joy for me today.
Oh, thank you. You know, it's interesting, Evgeny, you mentioned that, because during the first 3-year retreat, they sent in, I think it was 18 illustrations of Dzongkhapa's life. And before they sent them in, I took them and had them scanned in very high resolution, because I was concerned that something would happen to these prints, because they're pretty big, like so big. So I had them high resolution scanned and saved it. and hoped that one day it would be of use for Geshe Michael. And sure enough, a year or two out of 3 retreat, they wanted to make a book, the Jason Kapa, that big, beautiful formatted book of all the posters. And he needed scanned images to do what he wanted to do. And there I'd done it, so I was able just to give them to him right away. And that made me very happy. And then, much to my surprise, if you go to the back of the book, he thanks me.
Oh.
That just warmed my heart. So I think that it's always fun when something like that happens, when people reference one of my books when they write something. I'm always, just gives me a warm feeling. In fact, there was a book when I go into the bookstore, sometimes I look to see if books on the subjects I've written about, if my books are in the bookstore, not always. And one time I found this very thick official history of US Navy submarines. So I thought, well, I wrote a book about submarines. I wonder if I'm in there. So I looked up one of the submarine names, and the text was very familiar to me. And I thought, I think that's my text. So I looked at the footnote, and in the back of the book, I looked it up, and there were 3 references in this thick book by the US Navy. And one of them was my book on the growler and the grayback, the Regulus program. That just made me feel like the whole reason I write these books is just for that, to give people information. And it just doesn't matter if I get thanks or not. Well, I'm not being completely honest. It does matter. I like to get thanked, but it's okay if I'm not. Okay. So, my other rejoiceable is we've made good progress on the book of lists. I've got a website that I'm building with help from several students. And one student in particular of my Monday, Thursday class is a web designer, and she's offered to help me optimize the site so it gets hits and really pops. And Natalia, she agrees with you that the waterfall's too dark. I like the waterfall, but I succumb to your greater knowledge. So this tomorrow, one of my students that lives in Tucson and I are going to spend a little more time taking care of some issues on the website. So I'm really thrilled. We have 8 languages now. And that's just, and we're working on, Svetlana, we're working on trying to figure out how to do that game you suggested, because I think that's a really good idea. So yay. What else do I rejoice in? Well, I'm coming up on my March 21st is my 48th wedding anniversary. So I'm rejoicing that I've had the chance to live with a wonderful lady for 48 years. And she's put up with me. So that's a big rejoiceable. First day of spring. Oh, I got to paint the picture of getting married. I think this will make you laugh. If I can find a photograph, I'll send it around. So imagine me, I'm 6'3", my wife is 5'2". She's in a gorgeous dress that one of her sister-in-laws was a seamstress, and she made this gorgeous dress. And they decided to buy me my wedding suit, sight unseen. So my wedding suit is a lime green, not fluorescent, but it's lime green. It's bell-bottom pants because it's in 1980. No, this is in 1970. When did I get married? It was 76. And I'm wearing platform shoes. I'm wearing platform shoes. I look idiotic now, but I'll see if I can find a picture. It's really pretty cute. She's gorgeous. She looks gorgeous. In fact, before a 3-year retreat, this has been this has been in 2000, early 2000, late 2010. She still has her wedding dress and she still fit in it. And we had a dance at one of the parties at Diamond Mountain before a 3-year retreat. So that's pretty cool. That's a nice rejoiceable. Okay, so we're going to look at our meditation chart again. So please get those out in front of you. Now, well, there's my screen over here. Okay. So let's go through this from the beginning again. Okay. Notice at the bottom there are numbers along the path. And there's a key that I gave you in those 3 separate pages. We're going to go through that a little bit on and off today, doing some short meditations. The idea of these short meditations is Geshe Michael saying, don't jump into an hour meditation right away. We've talked about this in the past. So he's having us do 5 and 10-minute meditations to get used to the idea and see what problems we're coming up with. So what's going on there? You've got a monk. Now I have in my picture, it seems to me he has a hook and rope in his left hand. And it looks like he's holding up flowers in his right hand. But so what do we have here? We have number 1 denotes the step on the path, and 1 with a parentheses notes what level we're on. So up through 1 through 8 is the first level, where you're just trying to remember the subject, the object of meditation. So number 2 is bringing the mind back to the object. Number 3 represents the elephant. The elephant is black. The elephant represents dullness. And the black is going to slowly go away, meaning we're getting rid of dullness. But at the beginning, our enemy to meditation is dullness. And then the monkey in front of him represents agitation. And as you'll see later on, we start to get the elephant becomes more and more white and the monkey becomes more and more white. Number 3 is watchfulness, setting aside a portion of your mind to watch the rest of your mind. That I struggle with. Some days I'm okay with that, and other days I can't make that work. My main problem is falling asleep due to my medication. That's something I'm really struggling with. Number 4, you attain the first of the 9 levels. That's where you're remembering. You're struggling, but remembering what the object of meditation is. I talked about the monkey and the elephant. The flames, number 7, the flames represent the intensity of the power that you need to assert to stay on your object. Sorry, I got a phone call. Okay, where were we? Oh, number
7.
Number 7, yeah. Intensity of the power that you need to assert to stay on your object. It's not heat, it's just representing that you have to expend some energy to do this. I'm sorry, I need to take this call. So just. About that. I hate doing that, but you kept calling back. So, okay. That won't happen. Well, it may happen again, but I'll try not to. Okay. So first, the corrections we have are big and they overshoot what you're trying to achieve. You go from dullness to agitation or agitation back to dullness. I'd have to say that agitation, dullness is my main enemy at this point, this tendency to fall asleep. Not agitation. Okay. So he's doing some brief reviews and then we do a short meditation. So we're going to do a short meditation now. We're not going to go through the preliminaries because this is a very short meditation. So get comfortable. Okay, now watch your breath. I'm going to do 2 rounds of 10 and I'll count them. Okay, here we go. Okay. There is sunlight streaming through the windows of a small cabin on the side of a hill. You're sitting in this beam of sunlight. You're comfortably warm. There's the picture window, and then there's a window above it, and the sunlight's beaming through the window above it. You look out the picture window, and you see a gorgeous scene of mountains with pine trees and manzanita. Just a beautiful, calm, beautiful scene. Your heart teacher's there with you. Picture them facing you. Feel their warmth. Hear their breathing. They reach out and take your hands. Focus on the sense of touch of their hand. Now notice any kind of distractions you're having. Maybe you're thinking how strange it is to be touching your Lama's hands. Maybe you're thinking, will you ever actually get a chance to touch your Lama's hands? Okay, you can open your eyes. Now, I used a timer because I was curious about my breath. And without any struggle at all, I was able to get it down to 6 breaths per minute. So that's half of the normal respiratory rate. It's very comfortable. So I would like to suggest you use your phones and don't have to close your eyes. Just start a stopwatch function and get used to breathing slowly to 6 breaths per minute. To me, it's very calming and pleasant. And if you can't do it, it's not a big deal. I just put it out there for you to try. I think if you can, you'll find it quite relaxing. So let's get back to the chart. So you've got the first power here. You're learning from your teacher in the first mental state. So what do we mean by that? The 9 mental states. The first one, we're settling the mind on the object. So the 9 mental states are what we call the levels of meditation. So you don't stay in your object very long, but you keep your object. You're not switching objects. So the object now is the your Lama, and we're trying to get more detail on the Lama. He's holding your hands, you're watching his breath, you're feeling his warmth, her warmth, but you're staying on your object. And then when we asked you to observe distractions, that's where you're flitting like a mosquito landing on you and then taking off and landing on you, or a fly. The same idea. You've got the object, but you can't stay focused on it very long. So by the end of up to 8, that's changed. You're getting a little bit better on holding the object. And you're not really good at it yet, but you're getting a little bit better. The number 9 represents the first of something he calls the 4 modes. The first 2 of the 9 levels are achieved by something called conscious concentrated effort. With this type of effort, you get to the first and second levels, like a fly at the first and then a bit longer. So you're focusing your mind, you're concentrating on doing something that your mind's not used to. This idea of meditating on one thing and not flitting around in different subjects. You know you can do it because if you have ever watched a good movie, you've ever been reading a good book, or in my case, I'm deep inside the concentration I need to do one of my projects, and I forget completely about what time it is. And my wife comes in and asks if I'm going to be making her dinner on time. I've gotten so lost in what I'm doing, so engrossed. And that's easy for me to do. So I need to turn that skill into meditation, but that's another story. So if you look at just below number 10, you can see there's a little white spot on the elephant's head and a white spot on the monkey's head. The elephant's head is a white spot on it. As we see, this represents the 2 qualities of meditation that are increasing at this point, fixation and clarity. And I'm trying to remember. Fixation and clarity are difficult concepts for me. The fixation is how fresh. Well, fixation is staying, to me, is staying on the object. And then clarity is how fresh it is. Yes, I see my Lama, but do I see him as alive and breathing, or do I see him as just sitting there as like a picture? So clarity, Geshe says clarity refers to attention, the quality of attention. Is your mind engaged, fresh, engaged like when you're reading a good book and you stay up late at night to read it? You are succeeding in fighting the dullness. Now, in number 11, you've gone from fighting the dullness to fighting, and number 11's way up there. I have trouble understanding why it's that far up, but you're fighting dullness. Then you're fighting agitation. Agitation is not something you don't like. Your senses draw you away from the object of your meditation. He mentions here that sound is a major component of distraction, because you hear so many things and your mind immediately goes to that sound. So think of all the times that you've come up to somebody and said, interrupted them. about something that's important to you. That's what sound is doing. You're having the karma to have sound basically be that distraction for you. My mind tends to listen to a sound and it'll categorize it right away as either I know what it is or I don't. If I don't know what it is, then I'm distracted. I want to get up and see what made that thud. Actually, I have a good story about thuds. This is kind of funny. Do you know what the in the States you can buy these cylinders of dough to make rolls, right? They're like Pillsbury. Can you get those in Mexico? Get them in Russia? They're a tube and you crack them open and they have preformed biscuits that then you put in the oven. No? Well, okay. Jackie, I'm pretty sure they have those in Australia. What do you call biscuits in Australia?
I think we call them biscuits.
No, you call cookies biscuits. What do you call biscuits?
I think they're called biscuits.
No. Okay. Well, anyway, on to the story. So my wife and I are sitting in the living room in our house, our first house in Tucson, and we hear the sound that goes like this. And I look at her, and she looks at me. I look at our dog looks at me. We're trying to figure out what made that sound. And later in the evening, I go to make dinner. I open the refrigerator, and one of those cylinders of dough has popped open. I knew the sound. When I heard the sound, I knew what I knew I'd heard it before, but that's the idea. It distracted me greatly from what I was doing. So when I hear a sound like that when I'm meditating, my mind just goes immediately to what made that sound. And that's because I wasn't careful about other people, disturbing other people. The how it exploded was for some reason it was too old. The why it exploded was because I had been disturbing other people. So when you go up to someone, or Sheila, you go up to Katya and you touch her on the shoulder and say, I don't mean to disturb you, but, well, you do mean to disturb her because you're disturbing her. So you just have to be careful. Those are the little things. Number 12, the power of bringing the mind back to the object. This allows you to gain the third and fourth mental states. Keeping your mind on the object with patches where you lose the object, but you're getting better at keeping your mind on the object. The time between when you come off the object to where you recollect it is getting shorter and shorter. And 14, you're recognizing the difference between subtle dullness and obvious dullness. The monkey looking back, number 15, represents the ability to both tell when your mind is wandering and when to refocus it. So let's find number 15. Okay. There's a monkey looking back. Now his head is completely wide, as is the elephant's. You're making progress. Now you look forward along the line, the trail, and you see the monk has something attached to the elephant. Let's investigate what that is. Well, he digresses here. Number 16, maintaining the mind tightly on the object. The conch shell represents the aromas or fragrances that could be distracting. So the conch shell is up there, number 16. I think next to, well, my sense of smell is shot because of Parkinson's. Although actually it's interesting, it's been bad and now it's coming back. I can smell some things I hadn't smelled before. So maybe Parkinson's is reversing. I would love to be the first person on the planet that has Parkinson's go away. Now, I attribute it to karma, and that would make everybody in the medical field go nuts. But anyway, so aromas and fragrances are another huge enemy of meditation, because they'll remind you of a meal you're going to have or a meal you did have. Number 16 is maintaining the mind tightly on the object. Okay, here Geshe Michael wants us to meditate again. So this time it's going to be about 2 minutes or so between my saying anything. So I haven't fallen asleep. This meditation just takes a little bit longer. So this is going to be about 10 minutes. So again, watch your breath. So close your eyes, get comfortable. And we'll watch our breath for 2 rounds of 10, and I'll do the counting. Okay, again, you're sitting in this cabin on the side of a mountain in a beautiful sunlit room. It's pretty cold outside, but you're sitting in a beam of sunlight, so you're toasty warm. You look out the window, the picture window, and you see a beautiful mountainside of pine trees and rocks, a beautiful sky. Now picture your Lama sitting in front of you. You look up to their face and your eyes meet. You are content and happy with nothing more than just sitting, looking at your teacher's face. If your mind wanders, come back to their face. Look into their eyes. Okay, you can open your eyes. Now I'd like to try that again. Yeah, let's do this. Let's try that again. Now this time, I'm going to get a set of time. That was 3 minutes, 4 minutes. This time we're going to do a 10-minute meditation. I will try and keep what I say to a minimum. So try very hard. There are two goals. One, see your Lama's face in high detail. And two, do not move. You're not going to be struck dead if you move. But the point is, you're trying to develop the ability to stay absolutely still because movement is a distraction to your meditation. So we're going to go for 10 minutes. We don't have to watch our breath this time. So get comfortable. Here we go. Find yourself in a small cabin on the side of a mountain, nestled in on a rocky ledge, perhaps. It's got a large picture window you're sitting in front of. The sun is setting, but it's shining through a window behind you, and a beam of light is illuminating you and keeping you nice and warm. You look out through the picture window and see a beautiful mountainside with pine trees and boulders, manzanita bushes. Now see your Lama in front of you. They're sitting knee to knee with you. You can hear their gentle breath, and they're breathing quite slowly, so you match your breath with them. They take your hands, hold them in their hands. Feel the warmth of their skin. Now raise your eyes up and look into their eyes. First, you go around their face, looking at their nose, their mouth, their ears. Then you settle on their eyes. At first, you can't really look in their eyes. You get distracted and look away. But slowly but surely, you're able to focus more and more and stay on their eyes. Keep coming back to their eyes. Come back to the sensation of their holding your hand. The object of the meditation is your Lama. Now look back at their face. If you have trouble looking at their eyes, look just below their eyes. The object is your Lama, living, breathing in front of you. Feel their hands. Are they touching your hand? Are they gripping your hand? Now focus on their smile. Okay, you can open your eyes. How easy was it to stay on the object? Were you able to stay on your Lama's face? Or did you find yourself going to another part of the room? Anybody want to share how successful that was? That was 10 minutes. So by shifting to your, go ahead, Jackie.
Thank you. I found that the focus was on and off. The face was probably easier to achieve because it was a bit more expansive rather than the eyes, which was very tight. Maybe a few seconds on the eyes, flitting, coming back every now and then to the eyes. But what I found was I haven't actually experienced seeing my Lama in person yet. So it makes it different when you have to sort of create that image in your mind without having that physical presence with them.
Right. You could focus on, you can pick another, the idea is focusing on the person, whether it be your Lama or somebody else. So if there's someone else that you highly regard or want to spend the time meditating about, your husband, that would be fair. A sister, or do you have brothers and sisters? I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, well, maybe if you can choose somebody else. The Lama in this case represents somebody you know, and you can visualize reasonably easily. The going down to their hands or to their lips, that represents agitation in the sense that you're going to different parts. And when you can meditate on your Lama as without going to the different parts, then that's, I think, the point of this meditation. So I'd led you to different parts of the body just to see if you find yourself doing that, then that's where you're not single pointed yet. You're looking for other parts to keep your interest. When you do this meditation properly, it's, as I understand it, you'll look at the component, the part of their body, and be able to stay on it without having to go to other physical parts like of their face for the full 10 minutes. But I don't know if that 10 minutes felt long or short or what. How, anybody want to, does 10 minutes seem to go by really quickly? Yeah.
Slow.
Yeah. Well, guided meditations are difficult to both be guiding, to be the guide and to be guided. Because for me, like the source of all my good or the death meditation, you're describing something, and often when you describe the detail, the person is listening to you and anticipating what more you're going to say. So the beauty of the meditation with the source of all my good or the death meditation is when you get familiar with the room, then like the mirror room, once you get familiar with the room, I could probably just easily say, you're in the mirror room, I'll be back in 5 minutes. And you'd be able to go through the mirror room on your own. So next time I teach it, I think I may try that at the end. I usually teach the source of all my good over 5 or 6 days. And so that gives the students more time to go. We teach in the morning, then in the afternoon, they have the afternoon to meditate, and they can learn the rooms and stuff so that by the time we're done at the very end, they have a good appreciation for each of the details of the rooms.
May I add something else, please, from the experience?
Sure.
Maybe others experience this too, lips, dry lips and wanting to swallow. And I found that when I was thinking of the Lama, it was very dear to hold their hands. It was a very beautiful connection. But I found that when I was looking into their eyes, I was experiencing and remembering their journey, some of what they've shared and how they've helped others. That just came into my mind.
Okay. Thank you. I want to describe what I want you to do in the meditation, but I don't want to interrupt, because maybe you're focused on their eyes really beautifully, and then you hear this voice say, go to their lips. And you go, well, blessed, I was on their eyes. Now I got to go to their lips. So that's one of the troubles with guided meditation. Agitation is what you do right after you finish meditation. If you jump right up and do things quickly, that means you are planning them during your meditation. Notice the elephant is turning white, and so is the monkey. At number 15, the monkey turning back. Let's see. Yeah, I can kind of tell his head's turning back. The monkey looking back represents the ability to both tell when your mind is wandering and to refocus it. So if we're focusing on their eyes, and I had you go down to their lips or down to the hands and back up, that's being distracted. That's the agitation. And you need to be able to stop that. Okay, 16 we talked about. We're at the point now you can't lose the object. The quality of the meditation is not good, as you still have dullness and agitation, but you're getting better. How are we doing on time? I think we'll call it for the day. Between now and the next class, I'd really like you to spend the time to try set a timer for 5 minutes and 10 minutes, and just see if you can focus. Watch your breath first, of course. See if you can get your breath down to very slow, comfortable breathing. I like to divide my breath into 3 parts. It's the exhale, the inhale, and then between inhale and exhale, there's a pause. So it's 2 or 3 seconds inhale, 3 or 4 seconds pause, and 3 or 4 seconds exhale. And that can add up to 10 seconds pretty easily. So I'd be curious, see how well you can do. And if you can't do it, if you don't succeed in getting 6 or 7 breaths per minute, that's okay. It's not a challenge to win. It's a challenge to hopefully make progress on your meditation. At some point, you might be able to get to the point where it's 3 or 4 breaths per minute. That would be extraordinary. Okay, so I have the rejoicing page I'm going to send you. I'm not going to send you the address for the website yet. We don't have the translations inserted, but I will try to do that in the not too distant future. So I'm really excited about this project. I think with the help of my student and the other class, this is going to go from just being a mundane something to really be a tool. I really feel strongly this will be a contribution. Okay, let's dedicate. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the Dharma taught by the Buddhas, always increase. May the precious Bodhi mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. Through this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of Guru Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May all sentient beings know happiness and the causes of happiness, and may I help them achieve this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, and may I help them achieve this. May all sentient beings never be separated from the highest bliss, which is devoid of suffering. May I help them achieve this. May all sentient beings come to rest in the great impartiality, which is free from attachment and aversion. And may I help them achieve this. Okay. I will send that to Natalia and she'll forward that to everybody.